Well, folks, we have some rumors to bring to you today, along with some discussion surrounding third-party games coming to Switch 2. Because look, Xbox seems like they're all in and committed to Nintendo Switch 2, according to Phil Spencer. We actually had this as a minor story in a prior video. However, thanks to some new rumors that have come to light, which also rehash an old rumor but add some more to the mix, we got a little bit of additional context. And with that context given and given the source and how trustworthy they are, it seems like we need to start having this conversation again about not just Microsoft's full commitment to Nintendo Switch 2, and we'll even talk a little bit about that new Halo, but just in general, how 2026, we're likely going to be the year of third parties, not just third-party AAA and indie and all that releases on Switch 2, but announcements as well. Now, before we dive in, I just got to remind you, we do have a couple giveaways going on. One of them is for 3 copies, so 3 people get to win a copy of Age of Imprisonment, and again, 5 people get to win copies of Kirby Air Riders. We have 2 separate giveaway links for this down in the pinned comment or in the description. I wish everyone luck, and let's go ahead and dive in on this first one here, just to kind of frame this conversation that we're having today. And actually, the last bit of news we'll talk about is actually Zelda related, because I had to sneak a little in. I love Zelda a lot. All right, so as we look over here, Phil Spencer, Switch 2 will be one of the focuses of Team Xbox. We are making efforts to lower the barrier to entry so that people can play our games through services like Xbox Play Anywhere and Xbox Game Pass. However, if someone wants to play our games on PlayStation 5 or Switch 2, we would love for them to do so on those platforms. In that sense, we have received excellent support from both Sony and Nintendo. Now, this is a quote we actually talked about yesterday from an interview Phil Spencer did. It was really nice to hear from Phil Spencer because Sarah Bond's been doing most of the talking for the Xbox brand, which makes sense. She basically runs the Xbox brand. Phil Spencer is her boss, but Phil Spencer's, kind of transitioned more to the corporate side, less of the public face. But obviously, he's been the public face of Xbox for a long time. He's still going to do the events. He's still going to be at things. But Sarah Bond kind of runs the show. So, look, Phil Spencer, this is important that he says this. It's not just about Switch 2. It's also about Sony. And we know that because a new Halo game was announced, right? Well, we say new. It's more like a remake of the original Halo 1 campaign, and it was announced for PlayStation 5 and Xbox, but not the Nintendo Switch 2. And some people were scratching their heads on like, hey, I thought Xbox was committed. Didn't Phil Spencer say they're committed? And yet this Halo game wasn't announced for Switch 2. Well, we have an explanation for that because we have some new rumors that are specifically related to Xbox. So we all know Fallout 4, right? That remaster, remake, whatever they want to call it, the anniversary edition, right, is coming over to the Nintendo Switch 2 next year. We already know this is already confirmed, announced again, news video earlier. And someone kind of teased this earlier. Reese Riley, who has done a ton of developer interviews. He dropped another developer interview today. Fallout 4 for Switch 2, sneakily confirmed first anywhere on the Nintendo by podcast. Hey, folks. Nintendo by podcast, baby. That's us. That's me. That's Thunderstash, Gamebird, Eric Moore. That's our show. That's our show, baby. Anyways, going back there, Thunderstash asked him on air, probably one of the only times media outlets didn't report on something I said, probably because it wasn't Metroid related. And I technically reported on this at the time, but nobody else really seemed to pick it up, which is cool. So Reese Riley maybe feels a little safer coming through our show if he's not worried about media outlets picking things up, although eventually that could change someday. Anyways, this person says, RE7, 8, 9, Indiana Jones, First Light 007, and now Fallout 4, and we're not even in 2026. And he says, that's not all. You'll get Doom, The Dark Ages, and Starfield from Bethesda. 2026 is the year third parties really go in on Switch 2. That's already exciting. Those are obviously Microsoft-owned entities. And then he goes on, and this is what he explains. id Software got dev kits late, hence the delayed release. This is very interesting because this can actually even explain why Halo, this new one, this remake or whatever, didn't get announced for Switch 2, because the studio doing it may have gotten dev kits late or maybe not at all. It's interesting because Reese Riley has other comments on this. If we just go back here and look at his profile, as we move through here, he comments a little bit here. Microsoft received dev kits from Nintendo a lot later than Japanese partners like Square Enix and Capcom. Hence why there is such a delay with Microsoft games coming to Switch 2. You can't bang out a port in 3 months. These things take time, especially, these ultra graphic, impressive games. You need more time to properly do a port. Most of Microsoft's games will end up on Switch 2 at some point. Some will be next year, Doom the Dark Ages and Starfield. Others will be a bit later. Also, we know Indiana Jones, Great Circle, that's already announced, right? Fallout 4, those are games already announced. Doom the Dark Ages and Starfield are not announced. Nintendo fans need not worry. Microsoft will be a big supporter of Switch 2. One of the things Phil Spencer isn't lying about. And of course, we have this like fan-made image. Maybe he made the image of it. Might even go up in my thumbnail. I think this is really, really interesting because he's not saying that Halo Campaign Evolved is going to be coming, of course, over to the Nintendo Switch 2. What he is trying to say is that it could come over and maybe will come over and maybe we should expect it because most things from Microsoft will be coming over. It's just they got dev kits late. Like, it is what it is. They were not a Japanese partner. They got early access. No, they got them late, and it just takes time. So yeah, maybe they had them 3 months ago. Maybe they had them 5 months ago, but it doesn't matter because it takes time to port things over. I'll give you an example. I think actually, screw it. I know EA. I know exactly when EA got dev kits. And the thing about knowing when EA got dev kits, it explains things like why Madden does not have a smooth, consistent frame rate. They rushed a game out. It is what it is. That doesn't mean you're not enjoying Madden, by the way. It just means that it was a bit of a rushed port job to the Nintendo Switch 2. So you can see why a company might not want to rush things out. Ubisoft was actually able to get their hands on dev kits super early, but we also know Ubisoft has been a direct partner with Nintendo, the Mario and Rabbids series, all of that. So, Ubisoft usually almost always has a game in the launch period or day one of launch as well. They've been actually partnered for a long time on launches for Nintendo systems. So Ubisoft also being in Europe, much closer to the Nintendo. Yeah, again, this just all kind of goes together in that, Ubisoft's a partner. So Microsoft's a partner as well, but Microsoft and Nintendo haven't been as close until late. So again, this isn't to say that we're going to get Halo, but it is to say we're going to end up getting a majority of Microsoft's library. And I think if that was happening with Microsoft and their studios, this explains why we don't have Call of Duty yet. There was a contract signed, sure, but maybe they didn't get dev kits till some point this year. If that's the case, how the hell are you getting a Call of Duty game out on this year, right? So the point is that games are coming. The third-party games are coming, and this really explains why there can be such a delay from Western studios in particular for their games coming to Switch 2. While some maybe got some preferential treatment, Ubisoft, CD Projekt Red, companies like EA, Microsoft, and others did not get that same preferential treatment. Now, they're probably able to get as many dev kits as they want right this second, but that doesn't just make games available. Especially when you're like downporting. I call it downporting because Switch 2 is generally not as powerful. However, like Xbox Series S version, so maybe it's not too bad. The point is that it takes time. There's going to be day and date releases eventually. I think right now we're not going to see a lot of day and date from Microsoft, but there will be day and date releases eventually. Probably beginning in 2027, if I had to venture to guess, but that's neither here nor there. Now, one little tidbit I wanted to get into here towards the end is Zelda related. Because again, we talk about news at this channel. This is news, and I want to make sure we highlight it because I'm really excited for Age of Imprisonment. I wouldn't be doing giveaways for it if I wasn't. And I got to be honest, this thing comes out in like 11, 12 days, something like that. It's not that far away. And my gosh, guys, this game just looks better and better. By the way, one thing I want to note quick, and I'll throw an image up here. I forgot to prepare the image. There are demo kiosks now that have demos of it. It is the same demo as the one they had at Gamescom, Age of Imprisonment. I have not played it yet. I'm going to be calling around tomorrow to see if there's any demo kiosks anywhere near me so I can maybe go try it out and get some footage for you guys and give you some impressions. But what I want to note here is they're out there. So that's one story. The other story is there's some new art. Now, this new art's interesting because it shows characters we haven't really seen yet. What are we talking about? Well, let's head on over to Stealth, who has the update on X. Look at that. There's some crazy stuff here with this art. For starters, we see the Goron. Forgot his name. Again, I don't have the names memorized yet, right? These are new characters. The Goron, the Zora, and the Rito without the mask on. This is the first time we've seen him without the mask. Pretty crazy. Then we have this character here. Who is this character? This is interesting. They got the arm thing here going on, like Link did in Tears of the Kingdom. We see a little construct stuff on the kneecap. what the hell is this? And is this the one that turns into the construct? Is the construct actually not Link, but another version of this character? I don't know, man. Because this character feels like Link, but is clearly not Link. Like, you can just tell looking at him, this is not Link. But it has a similar style and feel. Maybe a predecessor, maybe a ancestor, potentially, of Link. Very interesting. It could be a completely different character. I don't know. And then we have this guy. You know, he's got the sword. He's got the shield. Who the hell is this guy? Who the hell is this guy? What is going on? Like, this is awesome. I love this. We're getting brand new details on the game just randomly with art drops. This is awesome. Then we have, you know, let's say, look at this guy. See, the reason I bring up this guy maybe being the same as well, we keep saying, oh, it's Link, oh, it's Link, oh, it's Link. I mean, even the long hair, this guy's got longer hair as well. You know, you see the face, and again, reminds us of Link, but then this guy, I don't know. Maybe they're the same, maybe they're different characters. I don't know idea. Maybe this is like, dude, I don't know. Don't ask me. This technology stuff in Tears of the Kingdom is wild. And then obviously we see the Korok, which we did technically get a name for already. I still, again, really bad with names. Don't have this stuff memorized. But anyways, I just wanted to show this stuff at the end because I'm stupidly excited for Age of Imprisonment. So much so, I'm literally calling around tomorrow so I could find a kiosk that actually has the demo on it. So then I can go hands-on with the demo, get a bunch of footage for you guys, and throw some impressions out there because this is one of the games I wish was at PAX West, but wasn't. And I want to get those impressions out soon because the game comes out here in like a week and a half, couple of weeks. So I want to make sure that we're on top of it here. It gives you the best coverage we can of the next game coming out from Nintendo, the next published game. So, all right, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I am Nathaniel Rubblegants from Nintendo Prime. And who knew? A guest we had on the podcast breaking some news out there for us to cover on a random Saturday about what's happening at Microsoft and their support of Switch 2. Catch you guys in the next video.